Paltrocast now with Darren Paltrowitz. Get ready to listen to your favorite artists.
Paltrocast.
Lily, how's your day going aside from answering the same questions over and over and over and over again?
Very good. It's 7:30 in the morning. I've been up since 5 and I'm ready to talk all things Monolith.
Well, before we get there, is there coffee in front of you, an energy drink, or both?
Already had the coffee. We're just on the waters now. So I've got the perfect sufficient amount of handshakes. It's great.
Awesome. Well, Monolith is the new project for you. How much prep was needed? Because when you're playing a journalist, sure, the part is written on the paper, but I don't know what your journalist background is.
Yeah, no. I'm all about pretending, but also journalists and also podcast, like creating a podcast in a sense. And you're like constantly on the computer and having to just have that natural sort of reflex and not feel like a total phony. But it was really great. There was this journalist named Georgina Savage who basically Matt Vesler, the director, had interviewed, sort of broken down a lot of like her sort of process, and which was really great. She has a podcast called The Invisible Hand. It's really great. And just even channeling the voice and understanding what it's like to even talk into people's ears, which is very different to performing as an actor.
Sure.
And finding that. And also we shot the film in like 15 days. So I pretty much had to learn the script front to back like theater. Yeah. This film is very much a experimental piece of how to fit a film, and within 15 days, $500,000. It was a part of this New Voices program. So they built the film up and used obviously the sci-fi world to be like, how can we make an alien invasion on a shoestring, basically? And
A shoestring, but the support of Adelaide and the local societies, correct?
100%, which is awesome. It's such a hub for festivals there, and such a hub for getting up and coming creators off the ground, which is why as soon as I read Lucy Campbell's script, I was just like, this is ridiculous. This is terrifying. I understand I have to do these things, but I'm scared when I read your script. And also just entertaining, telling a good old story. I'm trying to spook.
What was your gateway to getting that script, being able to read it and then go, I want to do this? I'm assuming it wasn't a traditional audition process, because let's face it, you have great credits.
Yeah, it was that was really nice. I'd actually just finished Evil Dead. Maybe it was a little bit of time after. And then, COVID was still happening. It was like everything was quite stripped back. And then my agent read it and she was just like, I think you'd like to take a bite of this and sink your teeth in it. And I think I'm worried for you to do this, but that's why I think you should do it. And I read it, and then I was just like, yeah, let's walk towards fear. Let's do something that I feel like maybe the adrenaline after Evil Dead, I was like, I feel anything.
You mentioned it, sorry to rudely interrupt you there, but you mentioned it being a 15-day shoot. How does that stack up against other projects you've been on? Because what I hear is TV shows are generally a week per episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would have been very different a 15-day shoot if you weren't the only actor on screen and the only person on set being filmed. So it was like, 10 to 12-hour days of just being filmed constantly, and then covering so much dialogue. Like, it was just so dialogue heavy, and obviously removing another person's body and eyes and that language that you get, that second set of language, even where it's for the audience, but also for yourself as an actor. So stripping that back, that 15 days alone, no one else, and very dialogue heavy. It was quite a wild experience. And but yeah, so like nothing I could compare to. There were definitely moments where I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, just like my eyes, like snow vision almost feeling. You were just like, this is bizarre when you remove other people, and it just becomes, because the headphones are noise cancelling. I had one actor, NCU Nathan, who was feeding me all of the different characters. So it was also one person's voice in my head. It might just be like,
yeah. Well, I have a question that it's meant to be a compliment. It's a stupid American question here, but speaking to your versatility, how much of the accent that you have to put on for the character or the dialect plays into the role of it? So, for example, do you go, oh, I don't want to do an American accent for this one?
Mm, yeah. I mean, it's like, because obviously I did Evil Dead before, which was American. I've done French and English.
Yeah.
Like it definitely informs your sense of humor in a way, which is really funny. And my parents are English, so it's like that I kind of do a blend anyway. But for this, it was really nice if I was going to do this job where it was just so quick and not much time to even come up for air. I was just like, I think I just have to play her as myself. Like this is an exercise, like vocally, because I'm not a narcissist and so I'm psychotic and selfish. Like, cheers. But it was really fun to just do an Australian accent after doing Evil Dead as well, which was American. To kind of try to sort of drop in and actually just have the opportunity to apply yourself to it in that way. It's not have to think about it sometimes as well.
I can't imagine how difficult it is, giving some empathy here, to pretend to be another nationality for a while, and then after a month go, I'm not that anymore. Time to be
Yeah.
myself. How much of yourself you lose when you have to keep dropping that?
Yeah, and also like there's certain things say with the American accent that I don't now in my Australian accent, because the first time I had to do one, I was so nervous that I didn't want to get it wrong. There was certain words that would just give you away straight away if you didn't say it, like, how have you been instead of have you been in Australia? So it was like instead of BEEN, you hit it with like been.
How you
been.
going?
Yeah,
The no versus the ner. It's tough.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So then now I say, how have you been? Like even in an Australian accent, I don't say, how have you been anymore? So it's like things that slowly change over time. Your little morphing, all these random names you've been called as well.
You pulled it off. Well, two quick questions and then I let you go. And the first one is, Monolith is a new project to us, an old project to you. Are we allowed to know where we're going to see you next, or we just keep having to check Instagram?
Checking Instagram. No, there's a few out there for online. It's like on demand, and then also I don't know officially. I know there's another streamer that's dropping it in Australia. It's Binge and Foxtel, and then also selected cinemas. But yeah, same with the UK as well, which I think is just digital. But crazy, this journey of this film, we just had no idea of its journey, which was it's so exciting to take it step by step. We go like, cool, that films like this, and that's the beauty of this genre, that there are people that are into it and into the exploration of it. And yeah, Monolith was an experience.
Got it. Last question. Is there, showing again your versatility, because Monolith has nothing to do with Evil Dead Rise, etc. Very diversified career. Is there a particular role or genre you haven't yet done that you're still hoping you'll get the offer for?
I mean, I could totally go for but I think it's just me falling in love with the intensity and almost fantasy of horror and sci-fi, which I would go deeper into sci-fi world, I think, again, more as opposed to horror gore. Which I would do. I just need that little bit more time after Evil Dead, which is such a brutal experience. And then also I think actually fantasy. Weirdly, I'm just all about exploring and living and the way people speak and languages that are created from someone's mind. So I haven't really done fantasy, I might just...
Fingers crossed. Well, thank you for the time. Thank you for the years of great art. And looking forward to what's coming next, and hope you get another cup of coffee soon. Because, man, you are better than I would be at 7:30 in the morning.
I know. Help me, pray for me.
Thank you very much. Paltrocast. So Life is Art is the new project. When did you actually finish it? Because you were involved in not just being featured, but also it's your voice right there.
Yeah. It was 11 years in the works. So it's probably been about a year that it finally came, it got finished when we started sending it off to the film festivals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have a say in the script or the story of it, or did you just read what you were given?
Yeah, it was totally, I had complete control because it was my voice and my movie. So it's kind of a joke that I'm giving you right now, because I let the people who do what they do it. I let them take it. It's best to let other people see their version, especially with my director that's been on it, Luis Reyes, who's an incredible writer of movies in Hollywood. For anyway, so he was a guy there always behind it, and then Kayvon too, Derek at the end.
Right.
Derek Cheney, yeah.
So when I look at your career, it's not my life, it's your life. And I say, hey, he's been in more than 100 movies, hundreds of TV shows and all that. So it seems to me like it never stopped for you. But was there ever a period in your career where you were kind of worried if the work was going to keep coming?
No. I mean, I was shocked, not shocked, but I was surprised when it didn't, when it kind of died down in the 90s, because I had been going wall to wall the whole time since I got here. And my first 7 months in the business, I did 4 feature films, 2 with Hal Wallace, the biggest producer of all time, and Dalton Trumbo, and Roger Corman. So going back to the independent that is now the big thing, but he was the first real independent filmmaker. So yeah, that, and then along with my book, Life is Art, that they can get on pepeserna.net, order it along with my artwork, is that it's all in the eye of the beholder, right? And what they're going to see and hear and feel, because that's what I want. Is not, hey, look what I did. Look at how many movies I've done. Look at all my artwork. Look at what I want is, I'm an improv guy. I that's what I do. I do improv workshops. I want you to be inspired to say, where people say, I say, what are you going to be? Oh, I want to be a writer. I want to know. I say, you already are. And where you are right now is incredible. You have no idea how incredible it is to know that you love to do something, because so many people don't. They get stuck in a job that's 8 to 5, and it's like, before they know it, they're going to retire and they don't even have a pension. Nobody has taught them anything about how you have to not spend more than you make. How it doesn't matter how much you make. If you're going to spend it all, you can make 10 million a year and you'll spend 10 million a year.
Right.
But you can have 30,000 a year and be saving and become a multimillionaire because you knew how to save and how to make your money grow and work for you. And that's the same thing in life, of acting or painting or whatever it is having the passion, surrounding yourself around people who are of like mind, and that way you can create things together. And it's so much more fun working together.
So my last question is related to what you just said. It sounds like Roger Corman taught you really well, because you're one of the actors who one of your first major credits was a Corman film. And there's stories about how cheap Corman was, but the more you think about it, the smart businessman he was for making his production so cheap. So did you learn a lot about money from Roger Corman as well?
No, I didn't. I never even met Roger Corman, so it was a different director, Stephanie Rothman. But it's that mindset. It doesn't matter where you look. It's your mechanic, your electrician, your plumber. They're all the Roger Cormans of life. Is how do you make something happen? How do you make something happen, what you're doing, and love what you're doing? It wasn't so much that he was cheap, but he must have figured out that, hey, if I cut back, I'll be able to do more, because I don't have to wait for Big Daddy to come and give me his blessing and say, here, I'm going to give you some money to do it. I did this documentary. It's our documentary. I'm distributing it, my publishing, my book, because I want to know who's watching. I want to know how I can get it out to more people, because that's my passion, is people. And how do I get out to more? Where are you located?
Long Island, New York. Have you ever filmed out here?
No, I never have.
Well, one day, hopefully you will. But
tell me that Kevin Smith has a new theater there, right?
Close to here. close to here. It's more Billy Crystal territory out here.
No, but I mean that Kevin Smith bought a theater where he's an actual theater is there in Long Island, somewhere nearby.
I have to look into that. You're teaching me things, but the bottom line is thank you, Pepe, for the decades of great art. Congratulations on the book, the documentary, and looking forward to everything that's to come from you, the human being. You're an inspiring person.
And to all your listeners out there, please get it out there, get people to watch it, and because my story is your story. And let's make it happen, because they said, how can I get to Hollywood? How can I? You're already in Hollywood. Wherever you are, there you are. Do it. Did you see The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai?
Yes.
Yeah, anyway, so those are some great movies. Check it out.
Paltrocast.
Well, Joanne, I'm going to say good afternoon, or is it good evening to you where you are?
It's already evening, like it's 7 p.m. here. Yeah.
So you've already gotten a lot more done today than I have. So thank you for taking the time after being tired. Is it a good day for you so far?
Yeah, I've been having a good day. Did some work and preparing lots for March, so that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a tour with your All-American band, and you're touring in support of the new EP. When did you actually finish the EP that you made in New Jersey?
We recorded it at the end of November in New Jersey, and we finished it, I think, at the end of December already. It went pretty fast, all the mixing and mastering. So we teamed up pretty well, and we got it done quickly.
I know that you'd spent a lot of time in New York and you'd performed in New York, but Asbury Park, it's not New York. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of New York City. Had you been to Asbury Park before recording this EP?
No, I haven't been there actually before this trip. So I spent a lot of time in New York, and I think I heard of New Jersey just because of, movies and series and whatever. But I wasn't there before, and I just got in touch with Francis, the drummer and producer of this new EP. I met him in Nashville, and he told me a bit about the New Jersey music scene and about Asbury Park, and he just told me like, oh, we should record there. We should record your EP in Asbury Park. So I was totally I was up for it, and when I got there, I got the feeling of what the music scene is about, and it's pretty huge. Yeah.
Did you get to stay in Asbury Park near the studio when you were recording?
Yeah, I stayed for a week, I think. Yeah, in total in Asbury Park. So it was quite nice. I got to walk the shore and like see the famous music spots, and we went to a show in the Stone Pony as well. So I think I got the feeling of it quite well.
Got it. So Francis was your gateway to Asbury Park. Were you a big, and it's okay if the answer is no, but were you a big Springsteen fan or Southside Johnny fan or anything like that before recording in Asbury Park?
Well, I wouldn't say a big fan, but of course in the Netherlands we know the music of Springsteen, and there's lots of cover bands actually of Bruce Springsteen and New Jersey kind of music style. So yeah, we are familiar with them for sure, and we know that I knew that Asbury Park was like, of course, his album title, and so that sounded familiar already.
See, the reason I'm curious about that is I love finding out which American artists are popular overseas and which ones are not. So, for example, Bruce Springsteen's probably like a top 10 all-time big artist, but then there's certain countries that Bruce Springsteen doesn't tour. And then one of my favorite bands, who Francis is kind of related to, Van Halen. Van Halen seems to be an American, Canadian, Japan thing. And even though the Van Halen family is Dutch, not a lot of touring of Europe.
Well, yeah, that's quite interesting, actually. I don't know, maybe they just focused on their fans and their music development in the US. But Van Halen, of course, we all know Van Halen, we all know David Lee Roth and the music of it. But I don't know, perhaps it's maybe not that famous in here if they are not touring. I don't know. Yeah,
one of the biggest bands of all time in the US, and then not so much in Europe, and that's a very common thing. One of my favorite bands, Cheap Trick. I hear they don't tour Europe very much. Right. It happens, but back to you. So What was it about Francis or Mark that you went, hey, these are the people I should be playing with? Was it a particular recording or credit of theirs?
Well, I think in the music world, it's also all about connections and having what kind of personality someone is like, and if you can connect with them on a personal level as well. I think that's the gateway to creating a good music. And I just got connected with Francis through a friend in the Netherlands, actually, a fantastic trombone player, and he played with Francis, and I play with him a lot. So he connected us. He said, "Oh, you should meet him when you're in the US." So I just met with Francis, and we connected well, and we talked about music. We were on the same level, and he knew Mark, so I trusted his guts in bringing Mark to the studio. So that's how it happened. I didn't really listen to the style, how they perform, how they play. I thought, okay, if my friend, if Francis is feeling well about it, then let's go for it, and we'll see what happens.
That's very unique because sometimes it's a different band on the album than the tour. In other words, sometimes the people are good to hang out with, but they aren't necessarily the band for the studio. But in this case, your band in the studio is the same band as the one on tour. You're flying them out to the Netherlands. Yeah,
partly. Some of them couldn't make it, unfortunately, but we got actually another guitar player, also from New Jersey, Anthony, and actually the Hammond player, keyboard player, Grace, is also from New Jersey, I think. So it's all connected somehow. They all knew each other, and Francis is coming over, and Riley from Nashville, he also was in the studio with us in New Jersey. So yeah, it went so well, and we started brainstorming about what we could do in the future, and them bringing them to the Netherlands was one of those ideas. So yeah, we made it happen.
So does that now mean that they have to bring you to the States also? That it's a return
sure.
process?
No, of course it would be great if it ended up being like this mutual collaboration. I can bring them over, they can bring me over, and that would be awesome, of course. Yeah.
And another thing that's very unique about your career compared to the United States is you have the support of government and grants and all that. We in the States don't really get that. Has that been the case with your whole career, or is it mostly this new EP where you have people supporting you locally?
Yeah, I know that in the Netherlands it's a better system for sure.
Yes.
So for the arts, there are lots of fundings you can apply to, and I indeed got a grant for recording in the United States. So yeah, it definitely helped me. For my last EP, I didn't get any grants. I applied for them. I didn't get them, but I ended up doing a crowdfunding. So there are other ways to make it possible. But it's still as expensive over here. But maybe there are other ways to make it possible. Yeah.
So if you're able to complete grants, that means that you can write. I know because you'll find a lot of great singer-songwriters who can't do paperwork, who can't do essays, who can't do anything like that. So now we know that you are a good writer.
Well, I think the education system I was in as well, I did a Master of Music, but it also focused on musical leadership. So fundraising actually was a big part of the master studies. So I'm thankful for that, because it will help me in the future also to accomplish projects. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when an artist makes an EP, it's the precursor to a full-length album. And sometimes you find artists who go, oh, no one has the attention span for a full-length album. I'm only going to do EPs and singles. Which one are you with this new recording?
Yeah, so first I thought I'll just record one song maybe or two in the US just to release as a single. We ended up having more time, more ideas. So we recorded this EP of 3 songs. My goal is still to write a whole album of songs that came out of my trip in the US. Maybe create some kind of performance around that album. So it's really focused on music that I made that my trip inspired me to write. So I don't know, maybe I'm still in search of it. I would love to create a whole album one day, but for now it's my second EP.
So how far ahead are you looking in your career? Sometimes when I talk with artists, they know where they're going to be the next 3 years. And then other people go, we'll see how this tour goes. We'll see how this EP goes. And then we'll decide. That's what I'm getting the vibe of.
Yeah.
You're waiting to see.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm quite new in this world. It's my first tour in the Netherlands with my own music. I released my debut EP in June last year, 2023, and now I'm releasing this next EP. So I'm in the music scene for quite some time, but like creating my own music, writing and arranging and recording, that's all new, and I'm super excited for everything that's the world's gonna bring me eventually with it.
So when you're playing live in the Netherlands with your all-American band, do you know what the set list is it going to be? Is it just going to be the songs from your 2 EPs or covers, or are we allowed to know what you're performing?
Yeah, you definitely are. It's going to be a mix of these 2 EPs. It's going to be some new songs I recently wrote coming out of my trip that aren't recorded yet, but we'll create some cool arrangement for the tour. And we're also gonna play some Americana covers because, I bring them over from the US, and it would be great to bring some tribute to the music that inspires me that comes with them. And we also have one performance at a big tribute festival, so we're going to play only Americana covers there. So it's going to be a good mix, I think.
Do the songs get extended versions live, or do you play the version that's on the EP and that's that?
Well, honestly, I like to put in some extra solos and some extra harmonies or whatever. I want to give all the musicians enough credit, so we'll see when they're coming over. We're gonna rehearse for a day, and I'm just gonna let them give all the input they have and see what comes out of it. Yeah.
So you're gonna let Francis hit the drums hard?
Maybe if he keeps it a bit down, if the venue is okay with it.
Yeah, so it's an impressive backing band that you have behind you, because these are people who some nights they're playing covers, some nights they're with a singer-songwriter, some nights they're playing in arenas.
Yeah.
So in your case, have you played in an arena? I'm not assuming you have.
No.
Have you dealt with a gig like that?
No, never. I have not done anything like that. So I'm super excited and impressed and happy that such musicians are willing to come play with me. So that's super cool.
Yeah, you have a background of conservatories and real classical training. When you decided that you wanted to go more of a singer-songwriter route, did you have people from your music school trying to talk you out of being an original performer?
No, luckily they didn't. I started writing I came into my master's at the Conservatory of Amsterdam with a specific goal. Actually, I just wanted to get into writing myself, and I was just done with singing covers all the time. I was quite I wanted to see what came out of me when I would write my own music, and I think it ended up being different than I thought before, because I sang a lot of jazz music, and of course that has influence on my music right now, but it's more like indie folk, kind of country, sometimes Americana vibe, and I think it's so interesting because I got my own musical identity because of it.